What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the Nonsensical Knowledge Podcast. This is episode 75. We are 3/4 of the way to 100. What's good, Irv? What's going on?
What's up? What's shaking, man? Everything's shaking. The earth is shaking.
For real, what is going on, bro? Like we were just talking about it before we actually hit the live button. There's been so much shit going on. From like I think it was about 10 days since we streamed last, and it's just been never ending. We started off and we had a whole bunch of plane crashes. We had the Pennsylvania crash, we had the DC Black Hawk and airliner crash. There's a crash in fucking Alaska today or yesterday, or one in Brazil. Fucking, we had those. And then we had a ton of UFO information come out too.
Yeah, breakneck speed, man. Breakneck speed and everything got those too. Elon and the boys discovering a bunch of stuff. USA Democrats crying out there.
So what's
wow, man?
Break it down for me, man, because like I know there's a lot of misinformation as well. But what is U.S. aid and why is Trump going after it?
Well, it came out today that when he signed the executive order to pause federal funding for 90 days, U.S. aid they just kept sending out payments. And so Elon was like, that's strange. There was an executive order to hold funding. So they put themselves on the map. And then Doge rolled up in there and they were like, holy shit, what did we do? And the rest is history, man.
Right.
What's coming out.
And a lot of that government spending can be found on what is it, US spending or usaspending.com or something like that, where they track a lot of these payments. And the ones that are official, man, it's scary to see where all of these tax dollars are going and for what they're going for, which is atrocious, you know, because it's like as far as I'm concerned, our tax dollars are for infrastructure, roads, schools, bridges. How many of these things are in decrepit nature right now? And we're sending all of this money. Let's not even talk about Ukraine or Israel or any other person, any other entity. This money is going out the back door and going to like the Clinton Foundation, going to Marina Abramovich's foundation. And really, what's it going for?
Yeah, I mean, it's really twisted. I mean, they're paying off news agencies. I mean, subscriptions to news agencies such as Politico was extreme left. Like, so all the employees get free subscriptions, thousands and thousands of dollars. Schools, research, performing arts, hip hop music, even is all on the dole from this U.S. aid, primarily funded by. I mean, Republicans use it too, but Democrats pretty much mastered the system.
Yeah, and it's incredible to see what you know, the outrage, man, because for me, like it's funny. I had a triggering post today. Won't name no names, but we had some people tap in, and a lot of them were in agreement with us, but there was a few that were in an opposing nature. But it was like, why are we so upset, or why is anyone upset that the books are being checked? it's kind of weird to me that anybody, I would think the people that had these money laundering schemes in place would be the ones that were worried about it. I get it. A lot of the, I guess, uproar surrounding the situation is that a person like Elon Musk, a billionaire entrepreneur, tech guy, one of the most powerful people on the planet, we would say, is running the show.
Yeah, it's a lot to do about nothing though. It's like the Democrats just lost this election from like denying facts and shit. Like they're up in arms about the discovery about Elon having access to social security numbers and all of that shit. It's like the classic bait and switch. They're not upset like, oh shit, we wasted a ton of money. But then again, can they say like they're caught red-handed? They're caught with their hands in the cookie jar, man. Like what can they really say? But cause cries about it. Chuck Schumer and these guys and all the Democrats protesting outside. It's like, where were you? Like when people in North Carolina got flooded out, like where was your outrage about where's the fucking money at for these people? Like where's the bridges at that got washed out? Like these people can't get to their houses. Like so like it's just the same old shit with it, man. And it's just really annoying and sad.
Well, it is too. And it also goes to show what the government bureaucracy has really become. And like I kind of mentioned in my post today, it's like these career politicians are there for so long. So again, that's why their interests align with these programs because, oh, well, hey, if we can lobby to send a whole bunch of money to Iraq for a Sesame Street, an Iraqi Sesame Street, let's do it, but we're going to get a kickback on that. So if we donated 10 mil, you might see 2 for that show. The other 8 is being dispersed among people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're really and they're not their system is like, okay, they approve the money and they send it out. They're just sending it out. There's no like who's it going to? There's no check like let's verify it got there. There's no check like did they use it for what they said they was gonna use it for? They're like just sending shit out. And it's just like you gotta be kidding me, man. This is billions and billions of dollars every single year just going out like willy nilly to whoever, wherever, all over the world, bro. That shit is just insane.
And we're kicking it up. That's the thing here is we as taxpayers are kicking that money up. So really, people should be enraged that their money that they go and spend 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week. Doesn't matter how many hours you work. Your money is being taxed and sent to places that have nothing to do with you.
Nothing
which
at
is
all.
insane.
Nothing at all. It's tied into the CIA. It's tied into the State Department, politicians. So it's like this whole group, like from every level, man. So colleges, you know what I mean? You're doing a study on whatever you're doing, say COVID-19. Well, and they funded COVID. That's another one. 40 million to the Wuhan lab, to the exact guy who was the first patient number 0 for COVID. So USAID responsible for COVID-19.
Which again was lied about. So these are like the bigger issues and why I really like this shakeup in government, right? And because for the entire COVID period, we were lied to and said, trust the science, trust the science, trust the science. No, we don't have no. Remember some of the early accounts where like it was coming from a wet market. It transferred from bat soup, like the weirdest, craziest shit that they were feeding us. And in reality, they funded the gain of function research to create, just like the Senate said. The Senate came out. Anybody that wants to go and get it, go to Senate.gov or whatever it is, but they have it to where there's a 500-page report stating that COVID was a complete lie. So this is why I like to shake up, because right there, nobody would have ever known. I mean, I'm sure somebody would have exposed it at some point, but nobody would have ever known that they sent that money over had the Democrats won the election.
No, they would have only doubled, and tripled down on it. And what the bad part is, okay, so they fund the COVID lab. COVID gets out. So we're all watching the news. We're all following the news story. We're all getting fed this news story. But the news is supposed to be a separate entity to help a bridge between the people and government, but they're all getting paid too by the same organizations. So it's like they're not going to give us real news. They're going to give us what they tell them to give us, because their budgets depend on it. Like Politico literally could not pay their people yesterday for the first time in like 20 years because the government funding stopped. Like, that's a major news source. So it just, and then the medical field, like the doctors, like they're getting funding too. So they're not going to say anything too. So it's like everything was bought and paid for.
Yeah. And that's concerning, because when you have all of this money, and this was coming from U.S. aid and going to not only just domestic media sources, but foreign media sources that were push a certain narrative, right? So like that's the thing is like when you see all the anti-Trump shit, all the anti-Kamala shit, somebody's paying for that. Somebody's paying for this political, I guess, slander on both sides. But it shouldn't be the taxpayers. If you're going to make a political contribution, do it. Go for it. Support who you want to support.
Out. Yeah.
But to take your tax dollars and shove them into foreign media and even domestic media to taint, to muddy the waters, that's a disinformation campaign.
Yeah, that's really a psyop disinformation campaign, man. It's I mean, it's the ultimate betrayal. I mean, and then you use that media to force lockdowns and all of this stuff, and Fauci, like, yo, bro, they just, the National Institute of Health just stopped funding for $160,000 for a Dr. Fauci exhibit in their building. They were about to build. National Institute of Health was about to build this dude an exhibit for his years of service. Like, dude who just got pardoned?
Yeah, that didn't do anything wrong, but accepted a pardon. Wild. Not only that, but did you see Trump pulled his security?
Yeah,
apparently we were paying the same guy that lied to us. Trust the science. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Get the jab, get the booster, get everything else. We were paying this fucking guy security.
Nah, pull that shit.
Oh, he pulled everything, dude. He pulled all of it. He's talking about right now, he's talking about pulling Biden's fucking security clearances.
Is he really?
Yeah, I just saw an article a little while ago, man, where apparently Biden had set that precedent, though. So no president had ever done it before until he did it to Trump after Trump's first term. So now they're talking about, like, he's like, nah, we're pulling that. He doesn't need any. There's no need for him to have classified information.
He's not there anyway. So I mean,
Well,
take that
but
shit.
the issue is though is like I look at it in the sense of like, yo, if you were really bought by Ukraine and your family was really receiving all of this money and you pardoned everyone, let's make sure we're all clear here, all the way back to 2014, everyone, Fauci, his family, his daughter, his wife, like he pardoned fucking everyone. And if that doesn't tell you something, you might have been dropped on your head. Who knows?
Yeah, man. Yeah, totally dropped on the head. It's wild, man. Like I don't even know. It's so early in this process of discovery. Like they still got Pentagon audit. Like they haven't passed. Doge is going there. Trump just said that today. Pentagon's on the list. Um, Department of Education is on the list for Doge to get in there and
They're
do
talking about
audits.
IRS too, man.
IRS. So like the Pentagon hasn't passed an audit ever. So
Ever 7
ever.
straight. It might have
Yeah,
been. It might be 8 or 9 now. Where like because we talked about this a few episodes ago, and they've never passed. But this is what's interesting about all of this alleged tech and UFO stuff going on, because again, a lot of this money is hidden in black budgets, where it's like so far buried down into a bill, man, that nobody would ever even see it. But this is the nature of the beast, man. Shout out to the 12 people we got with us right now. We got 9 on X, 1 on YouTube, 1 on Facebook, and 1 on Twitch. Make sure you guys hit that share button, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Excuse me. I can't see Rumble. But shout out to anybody on Rumble as well. And Kick. We are actually on Kick right now too. We figured Kick out. So we're over there as well. We're trying to get TikTok situated as well so we can go live on there. Shout out to everybody, man. We went viral on TikTok. Fucking US Navy, man. Made us go viral. So 3.4 million views on TikTok. Shout out to everybody that participated. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, that's wild, man. A lot of comments, a lot of likes, a lot of everything, man. A lot of new followers, people tapping in with us. Appreciate you all.
Yeah, it was. Now I see the power of going viral, though, bro. Like 3.4 million views. We picked up probably 5,000 new followers on TikTok, which really changed everything for us. So we'll be actually having some things over in the TikTok shop as well. So just things from the podcast, the Stay Weird hoodie, the hats, we'll have them all available on the TikTok shop. If anybody else wants them, you can hit any one of our pages, and we'll be happy to send that out. Also, we have our giveaway going on. So anybody that wants to participate in the giveaway, there's a post on Facebook right now. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and then tag a few friends and leave us a comment on one of our lives, and we'll get you guys in there. February 24th, we'll announce the winner. Yeah. Where's everybody from? Tap in, leave a comment.
Say what up.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. There's a lot of things that are going on. Obviously, all of the stuff with the executive orders and Trump and stuff like that. But we had some really big UFO news in the way of 2 recent podcasts. We have to, I guess, reverse course here. We talked some shit on Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan ended up releasing the episode with Chris Bledsoe. We gave him a lot of flack because, what was it, Irv? You said it was brought to you by the CIA.
I think that got him to be like, yo, this is foul, yo. No, everybody was on his ass, bro, and I love it. Like, he had to do something, man, because
He
people were
caved under
not hearing
pressure.
it. Yeah, people were not hearing it. Like, yo, release, bro. I mean, what's going on? Like, his ex was on fire, bro, fire,
Yeah.
and then he dropped it. So I was gonna drop it. It just went a little longer than I expected. I'm like, all right, bro.
Yeah, which is bullshit. We know he caved under pressure. But at the same time, the episode was with a man named Chris Bledsoe. What up, George? Shout out. Thanks for tapping in, man. The episode was with a guy named Chris Bledsoe, who, as the story goes, is just a regular dude that had an experience back in, I believe, 2007. And essentially, he said that he was out on a fishing trip with his friends and his son, and he was approached by, well, he wasn't approached, right? But he observed 2 or 3 glowing, fiery balls land or something like that. And a lot of missing time. His people thought he was gone for like 4 or 5 hours. He thought he was gone for 20 minutes. Ricky Rizzo, what up, baby? So, but the interesting part about it is that he has had some very, very peculiar experiences, right? So apparently this dude also saved a few lives, healing people, and was investigated by the CIA. He was investigated by any department or government agency that we could think of. And he was honored by the Vatican.
Yeah.
So if anybody hasn't seen that episode, I suggest you do. A lot of big information. He also said that he experienced a mystical lady that said that people are actively scripting out the book of Revelation.
We talked about that. We definitely talked about that.
What do you think,
Because,
Herb? What do you think is going on with
because I'm like, Revelations is on point, and all this shit's been shaping up, and I started asking myself, like, yo, maybe they're following the script. You know what I mean? Like, they say it's prophecy, but what if they're moving events to bring it along? I mean, these psychopaths, I wouldn't put it past them to want Armageddon here sooner. You know, so it's wild to hear him say that, man, because I'm like, you know, these powers that be are powerful, man.
So with that being said, though, for me, I guess, what sounds like an extraterrestrial experience, he has related to a guardian angel of sorts that has protected him, has healed him, apparently sent his aggressive Crohn's disease into remission. There's a lot of things, man, that this guy did that holds a lot of weight. Do you think it's more of a religious thing, or do you think this is more of a non-human intelligence?
Um, I think I'm open to all of it. Um, as in religious, religious in a sense, not like we think it is, not like this all powerful beings and whatnot. I just think that it's more advanced beings than us, more enlightened beings, maybe some that are not in physical form. Um, some of them are good, bring good vibes, and some of them are evil and hate and full of hate that bring bad vibes, which back in the day would be chalked up as angels and demons. You know what I mean? especially like a lot of the who was it? There's a lady that John Ryan interviewed. She's a theologian.
Yep.
I forget her name right now, but
It was
episode
recently though.
yeah, she just dropped it like 2 days ago, and she was saying like the same thing with the saints who had, you know, these visits and shit, and the Vatican changed the visits to fit the spiritual narrative instead of that UFO narrative because it didn't fit what they thought. It didn't go along with the religion. So I think it's a lot. It's a lot of things in there, man.
Yeah. Well, again, it's not out of the realm of possibility. None of us actually know, and that's what it was, I guess, most intriguing to me about his account was everything was from so even with the prophecies of him talking about, so for anybody that doesn't know, apparently in this message from this mystical lady, she told him that there would be a star of Regulus that lines up perfectly on the horizon with the Sphinx, right? And it'd be Easter of 2026. And that he didn't say that she said it was the return of Jesus, but he felt like that. Like do you think that's like more because he's a religious person and that's how it manifests to him, like in a comfort sense? Like if these are beings coming from a different planet and they can read you telepathically, but they know you have this deep sense of faith, would they manifest as, I guess, a religious entity?
Yeah, I think whatever you're gonna be comfortable with. But he did, he was like, it could be Christ, it could be an awakening, it could be new information be revealed. So he was open too, like yes, this is my personal belief, but it can also be these things as well. It doesn't have to be the return of Christ.
Right. Which is cool. Like, again, look, if Jesus, I believe Jesus was real, but if there was like an omnipotent God and I get to the gates, I'm gonna be like, you got me. Like you got me, bro. You know what I mean? What do you want from me?
Yeah. Nah.
But it was just interesting because almost, I don't want to say simultaneously, but around the same time, Joe Rogan dropped an episode with Lenval Logan and Jason Sands, two retired Air Force cats, one actually being in a UAP retrieval program and one being a guy that allegedly actually ran into an extraterrestrial in the desert. So I feel like with all the shit going on with Trump and Elon, a lot of this shit's getting swept under the rug.
What do you mean right now? As far as like, oh, the UFO stuff's getting swept under the rug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. It's crazy that it's all happened simultaneously. It's like I think that ultimately it all leads to Doge getting into those Pentagon records, and even some of the intelligence agencies, like some of this stuff may come out, man.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Well, I think when they get into it, what do we got here? Okay. This is the all right, Chris. I'll just see what the host said,
you want
but
that? Okay.
no, it's cool. Either way. This is Chris Bledsoe, top left-hand corner. The star of Regulus is the star. It looks like maybe the Leo constellation.
Leo. It's in the Leo constellation.
Okay, another cool thing, real quick though. So in the Jason Sands episode on Joe Rogan, the retired Air Force cat, two totally separate cases. That dude said that when he had an interaction with the extraterrestrial, he left him a star map with the constellation Leo. Just real quick. But anyways, this is an interpretation of the mystical lady. She seems awfully Nordic to me.
She seems Nordic to me too. Very Nordic. Nordic-like.
Right? Like kind of just that, like, again, this is a representation of what the guy saw. But see, it's still giving me the, I don't know, it's giving me the religious vibes, but it's like, again, if we're looking at something from ancient times, how would they relate it? How would you relate what you don't know, And if this thing is tapping in with you telepathically, it might just take the form of whatever you're most comfortable with.
Shit could be a fucking reptilian, bro. Like, could be anything. I mean, it could just be a freaking hologram, bro.
Something, honestly, somebody shot it into his head.
Yeah, it could be projected. I mean, you're seeing orbs of light. You're seeing these things are following you. Creatures are coming out of them sometimes. Like, your mind state's already in, like, wow, this is amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're ripe for the picking, bro.
Oh, you're in shock, bro.
Yeah. You're like, oh yes, what do you want me to say? I'll write this shit down. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna roll with it, man. You just are.
Yeah, and what's kind of interesting about this guy's case in particular is that he, once the word got out to like government officials and high-ranking officials, he put on demonstrations for these cats. So he was like, "Oh, word, you don't believe me? All right, cool. Come on out, and I'm gonna fucking show you when these cats show up." And he did it.
Yeah, well, he does. He does it like every night, bro. Like, the dude has streams like every single night in his backyard. Like, okay, I'm gonna make it come by the moon or whatever. Shit starts flying by the moon. These orbs. It's just.
Well, it's kind of interesting too with the consciousness aspect of it, Irv. Like, remember how they were saying that they were summoning them, they were bringing them in, So I'm wondering if he is actually the consciousness behind it. Like he's bringing them in. Oh, I'm going to bring them across the moon. Okay. Oh, look, he's going to zigzag now. That's like almost like him.
He's dipping.
He's tapping into it. If he's controlling that thing consciously. Another interesting thing he said, though, with these creatures is that they're only like 2.5, 3 feet tall. Tiny little tykes.
Little tykes. Yeah, I mean, it's really wild, man. This whole thing. I'm back and forth. I'm like religious, the religious sense. Like, I'm not on the angel and demon tip though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more like our ancestors. They've been here all along, visiting us all along. Our ancestors, like, it's still magical to us, bro. You know what I mean? In the skies or whatever, but we can fly. We're in the skies now. Like, they couldn't do none of that shit. So when they came and visited our ancestors, bro, it was God. It was religion. It was angels. It was demons. It was this. Like, it wasn't no, like, and that was one of the awakenings with me, bro. Like, with my religious walk, bro, I just realized one day, I'm like, wait a minute, heaven somewhere else. You said you go somewhere else. They're somewhere else. I'm like, these cats are extraterrestrials.
Yeah.
It boils down to it. Like, if you're religious, you believe in extraterrestrials because they're from somewhere else and they go back to somewhere else. You know what I mean? That's what it boils down to. So I'm like, I don't know why you guys say you don't believe in UFOs or extraterrestrials, because angels, demons, God, they don't live here. They live somewhere else.
Right. And really before organized religion, they worshiped a number of things. So even in ancient Egypt, it was, the sun god, the moon god, this god, that god. You know what I mean? It wasn't until, I guess, and I don't want to say it's the first introduction into monotheism, but it wasn't until Akhenaten, the pharaoh Akhenaten, changed Egypt from a polytheistic religion, I guess, base structure, whatever, like the belief in multiple gods, to where they went monotheistic, and it was the sun god, it was the sun disk. It wasn't necessarily the sun in the literal sense, but it was a flying disc, one god, and then it started carrying over, But Dino Rockwell, what up? Yeah, it's just that's why I asked, because you're a bit more like religious than myself, so it's like, just coming from a religious perspective of, because I don't really buy into the angels demons shit either. I really more buy into a light energy and a dark energy. Like there's fucking dark energy, and then there's really, really positive energy. And I think your quintessential demons are those dark emotions, those dark, what George said, Ed, explain to me, what is this, like Bible study or no? Listen, man, we got to have all the information.
What do you think, George? You believe in angels and demons?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Is it's like it's all relative to each other though. So and this is why I hate what the ancient alien like theory gets shit on so much, because it's the same shit. Like they just, whatever they saw in the Bible years ago, the burning bush, the fucking Moses talking to God, like these are extraterrestrial experiences.
They are. They really are.
Said, I wish I knew. Smoke too much. Listen, that's how I retain all my information.
Yeah, George.
But it is all relative to each other, and these occurrences have been going on for as long as humanity's been here.
They really have. They really have. And it all keeps coming back to it, bro, because it's like you said, man. It's connected. It's all connected.
Yeah, and I think it's really just us deciphering all of the lost information, because really that's what happened. Is whoever won the war at the time got the information, got control of the information, control of the narrative. So again, we still don't know what was buried under Solomon's temple, because it's gone. It's just, yeah, it's the Library of Alexandria. What was in that? If Atlantis was a real place, then where's all that information? That was another thing that Bledsoe said, though, about the star of Regulus would be on the horizon and meet between the paws of the Sphinx. And on that time would be when we found new information or whatever, which is curious because it's always been said that there's a chamber under the Sphinx's paws.
Wasn't it a library too, right?
So it's been theorized that that's where the Library of Alexandria would be. Is either under the Sphinx or in it or whatever. Couple curious things is that they won't allow excavation there, and two, there is what is it? A hatch. I think it's a hatch. It's a weirdo hatch. You guys would have to Google it, but on the top of the Sphinx's head. And that's why you don't ever really see aerial views in the back of Homeboy's head, because it's like they think there's a way in there.
Oh, to get in there.
Yeah. But they also just discovered at the Pyramid of Giza too, bro, that
Some
there's
really interesting rituals
here we go.
associated with it when it does certain launches. Our space.
So this lady.
So this is Diane Pastuca. She is a world-renowned theologian, study ancient history or ancient texts, like one of the few people that's been allowed in the Vatican archives, like really, really, really into the religious side, but also ties it in with the modern and the ancient UFO. So this is a clip of her talking about rituals that our space programs do when they send stuff into space.
Space program today even has some really interesting rituals associated with it when it does certain launches at Cape Canaveral. Maybe not all of them, but the one that Tyler was involved with, they had images of Roman gods and goddesses put on the rockets. They would use Latin on their patches, their mission patches. And they would also have specific rituals that they would do, sometimes involving US presidents. They would position the presidents at a certain point where astronomical events, would happen. And this, so Tyler had,
like the president of the United States.
Yes, the president of the United States. They didn't know what they were doing. They were just being positioned there. So, they're like, stand here, Mr. Obama or President Obama. And he would stand there with his wife and look this direction. It was part of the whole thing. And there were photos. He has photos of all of that.
I mean, can you be a little more specific? Why would they stand him in a
Well,
certain...
see, okay, so this is obviously some type of ritual, and I don't know why they're doing it. I just know that I'm a scholar of religion. I know a ritual when I see one. He didn't even understand it. So I noticed that they were using Latin, and I noticed it wasn't medieval Latin. I was like, this is a particular form of Latin. It seems like it's Roman theology. So, they're using the images of Roman gods. And I would ask him, I said, why are you using the images of Roman gods? Why are you putting them on your mission patches and also utilizing Latin phrases from that time period? I mean, you're sending it up into space. Who up in space is going to read Latin? And his answer was our sponsors. So, I mean, that's what he said. And so he also had
Which Roman gods, do you know?
Yeah, so there would be obviously Apollo, right? So all the missions, if you think of all the missions, they're all those gods and goddesses.
Every single one of them. Well, not all of them, but the Apollo. We have to look up the other ones, but the Apollo missions were huge in themselves. But Irv, real quick, coincidentally, I sent this to Irv about 2 weeks ago. Pull up Space Force's fucking logo, or excuse me, Space Force's Intel division, their logo. Because this shit blew my mind, because we didn't even know about the Star Regulus thing and the Sphinx thing at the time. Because I think we sent it, or we talked about it before the Bledsoe episode came out. Well, look at that shit. How wild is that? Space Operations Command, Space Delta 18, National Space Intelligence Center. This is for anyone that might just be listening. This is the Space Force typical logo. It looks like the tip of a spear, and then it has looks like a pharaoh or a sphinx on top of a globe, looking at what would seem to be the North Star to me, but that might just be the Star Regulus. So coincidental? Doubt it.
All tied in. And that Tim Taylor guy, bro, he comes up all the time. and like he hasn't spoke. Like apparently he has like all the damn secrets. He's been
Who's this?
involved in Tim Taylor.
Tim
guy
Taylor.
The guy she said she asked, who are you putting this stuff on for? And he's like, our sponsors in space.
Yeah.
I've been hearing about this guy for years, but I don't know.
Now, is it the sponsors in space or is it the sponsors sending them to space? And you know, an interesting theory that I had just saw not too long ago too is like with that movie. See that movie that they came out with Channing Tatum and shit, what was it called? Take Me to the Moon, maybe?
Mm-mm.
All right, so do me a favor, Google Channing Tatum moon movie, because wait till you hear this shit, right? So basically they made a movie, man, about
Fly me
faking
to the moon.
they made a movie about faking the moon mission in a fucking government campaign that is based on like real, like a propaganda campaign that is like the chick's character is based on a real lady. I think a lot of it is like historically accurate in a sense.
They said they had to do that shit. Fly me to the moon.
Yeah, so Fly Me to the Moon. So marketing maven Kelly Jones wreaks havoc on NASA launch director Cole Davis's already difficult task. When the White House deems the mission too important to fail, the countdown truly begins. So to me, this is another case of Hollywood shoving it right in our fucking face. Like, this is based on a real lady that they hired to run a marketing campaign, sell the moon landing, bro.
Mm-hmm. Sell it, huh?
Yeah.
Nah, I didn't see this. I'll have to check that out, man.
I didn't see the movie, but I watched the trailer, and it looks good. It's got Scarlett Johansson in it and Channing Tatum. I think a few other cats, but it's just funny because this is like, bro, it feels like we're in a, like you said it earlier, it feels like we're in the fucking Truman Show.
Yeah. Woody Harrelson up in that shit.
Oh, Woody's in there?
I'm getting no more propaganda than it gets, bro.
Yeah. Woody Harrelson too is funny because I say this shit all the time, but Woody Harrelson's dad admitted to shooting JFK. Confessed.
What?
Oh, you didn't know that?
What?
Woody Harrelson's. So check this out. Google his dad, right? Woody Harrelson's dad. He's actually in prison for killing a federal court judge. So he was like the first person ever to kill a federal court judge or some shit like that. But he was allegedly in Dealey Plaza. He was allegedly a part of a fucking team of dudes that were supposed to assassinate Kennedy. They said he alleges that he did. Woody Harrelson.
Oh, he said he did it.
Dead ass. Pull out. He's got a whole wiki, bro. Woody Harrelson's pops. Dead ass. I almost want to say his name is Woody Senior.
Charles. Oh boy, Charles. Let's see. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. The wheel keeps on
spinning.
Didn't
know. Shit you didn't know for 100, bro. That's crazy.
I fuck with Woody. So Charles Void Harrelson, July 23rd, 1938. He passed away March 15th, 2007. Was an American contract killer, an organized crime figure who was convicted of assassinating federal judge John H. Wood Jr., the first federal judge to be assassinated in the 20th century. Charles Harrelson was the father of actors Brett and Woody Harrelson.
Stop playing.
Kayla May, what up?
No way.
Yeah. So, but he allegedly, he said that he whacked out Kennedy, bro. There we go. So let's read this real quick. This is Woody Harrelson's dad for anybody that's just tuning in with us. In September 1980, Harrelson surrendered to police after a 6-hour standoff in which he was reportedly high on cocaine. During the standoff, he threatened suicide and stated that he had killed both Judge Wood and President John F. Kennedy. In a television interview after his arrest, Harrelson said, "At the same time I said I had killed the judge, I said I had killed Kennedy," which might give you an idea to the state of mind at the time. He said that the statements made during the standoff were an effort to elongate my life. Joseph Chagra later testified during Harrelson's trial that Harrelson claimed to have shot Kennedy and drew maps to show where he was hiding during the assassination. Chagra said that he did not believe Harrelson's claim, and the AP reported that the FBI apparently discounted any involvement by Harrelson in the Kennedy assassination. According to Jim Marr's 1989 book, Crossfire, some theorists believe Harrelson is the youngest and tallest of the three tramps arrested shortly after Kennedy's shooting in Dallas. Marr stated that Harrelson was involved with criminals connected to intelligence agencies and the military, and suggested that he was connected to Jack Ruby through Russell Douglas Matthews, a third party with links to organized crime. So, just saying. I'm just fucking saying. Homie might have been.
Man.
I'm telling you, bro. Listen.
Why are they discounting it? Like, why don't I know this? Why am I learning about this tonight? This is craziness.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that about Woody.
Like, all the Woody Harrelson interviews I watch, nobody ever thought to be like, fun fact, like my dad.
Well, no, nobody wants to talk about your dad assassinating the first federal court judge in the 20th century. Who would want to talk about
that? That's history, man. Come on, bro.
I believe there are some interviews that he basically states where he's like, he tried to get him pardons and shit, and they weren't hearing it.
Nah, bro, you killed a federal judge.
It's not
maybe
happening.
Killed Kennedy, but it didn't fit the narrative. So,
well, again, the three tramps, like, which we would have to get more information on that. But at the same time, like, if he was actually there on the scene and they were a part of a hit team, because allegedly during the Kennedy assassination, and this is we're gonna dedicate a whole episode to the Kennedy assassination at some point, because of all of these different alleyways and shortcuts, and just there's so much going on with it. But if he was really there, there was allegedly 4 or 5 teams, bro, of people sent there to kill Kennedy that day. The Cubans had somebody there, the mob had somebody there, the Lyndon B. Johnson. For anybody that hasn't heard it yet, go to our YouTube page and listen to Clifton C. Carter tell everyone that Lyndon B. Johnson killed Kennedy. But anyways, the three tramps are 3 men photographed by several Dallas area newspapers under police escort near the Texas School Book Depository shortly after the assassination of United States President John F. Kennedy on November 22nd, 1963. Since the mid-1960s, various allegations have been made about the identities of the men and their involvement in a conspiracy to kill Kennedy. The 3 men were later identified from Dallas Police Department records as Gus Abrams, Harold Doyle, and John Jedney, maybe? So, it's just a conspiracy theory. Homie whacked out a federal court judge. I'm not saying I don't know why a president would be off limits.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. For Woody to even go on to make something of his life, like your dad.
It almost seems planned in a sense, because when you get into like the Laurel Canyon shit, like so Frank, I'm gonna fuck this up. Chap is so good at this. Like, I wish I had him here to tell me about this shit. But Frank Zappa's dad, and I want to say, oh, fuck, now I'm gonna fuck this up. Two of these motherfuckers served on the same ship in the Navy. I think it was Frank Zappa's dad and someone else, but they were a superstar. Shit, it wasn't Lennon. He was obviously British. Kayla, you're right. It really is a bloodline. But if you there's a, what is it? Weird Times in Laurel Canyon. It's a really good book. If anybody wants to check out the Laurel Canyon connections, there was a CIA base, or it might have been CIA or FBI headquarters, but the dead ass, you can Google that. That's in Laurel Canyon as well. And it's like all Hollywood figures. Janis Joplin, bro, fucking everybody was involved. A lot of them hung out with Manson too. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy how deep that shit goes. I want to see if I can find the Frank Zappa shit.
Yeah, I can't find it. I looked it out. Yeah, it's dark, man. Like, even on the Hollywood shit, Angelina Jolie, I think she got 20 mil to go to Ukraine. Sean Penn, like 5 million to go to Ukraine to like do like media to get the people of Ukraine like, yeah, fuck Russia. Like, Angelina Jolie supports us. Like, so these Hollywood stars took money to further this war from the American people, and that shit is just like, come on, man. That's like nothing. And all of these people that everyone's looking up to, like worshiping and all of this shit, are all part of this system to take away our freedoms and to spread death and destruction around the world. Big time propaganda.
Yeah, I agree though. You know, it really is to kind of, again, we've said it a number of times, how really the goal has always been to divide us. Infighting will always be our downfall. We see it a lot where people just can't have normal conversation or differing opinions anymore. Everybody's so radicalized against each other, and that's the goal. That's their goal, because while we're doing that, they get to do whatever the fuck they want. You know, and it's I don't know, it's wild too, because like that shit that, like, obviously Trump walked back those statements on Gaza, bro, but when I heard that shit about Gaza, I was like, that is fucking bananas. Like, there's no way that could happen. Absolutely not. Like we're talking about a U.S. military occupation and displacing 2 million Palestinians, bro. Like that, and you want to develop real estate too?
Netanyahu was sick. Like, he wanted to throw out.
Oh, you don't think Netanyahu was in on that?
No, he was disturbed. Like, that's our land.
Well, yeah, because again, that's the ancient fight, is between those two ethnic people that are, you know, fighting over the lands for time immemorial now, because each one has a claim to this holy land. And that whole history is convoluted and fucking crazy to begin with. So But just hearing him say some radical shit like that, kind of just, again, you're not pushing for Gazans Palestinians to have their own homeland. You're pushing to push them out and further destabilize that region. And I don't think he really would do that. But you can't say that. You know what I mean? You just lit the Middle East on fire, bro. But again, that's why we're out here. We're trying to uplift, make sure everybody has all the information, man, as best we can, at least, you know. There's a lot of different disinformation too, as Irv said earlier, with, you know, the US aid shit. Like, these people are being paid to give us certain information, and we can tell out there with the people that only get certain information.
Yeah.
Caleb, we'll definitely line it up ASAP for sure.
Let's go.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with all of that shit. But what do you think's going on with these plane crashes, man? For anybody that doesn't know, there was the DC happened first. Black Hawk helicopter, airliner collide. Terrible tragedy. Obviously, thoughts are out with the families and shit. But then we have the Pennsylvania one, Philadelphia, in the middle of Philadelphia. Then we have
missile.
You think so?
That was a missile, man.
That shit looked wild on video.
That was super fast, man. Super fast.
So one of our friends, you know, that doesn't like to be named on the podcast. He told me that apparently a lot of those planes had been recalled. Like, those type of planes have been recalled because they were like accelerating too quickly. Like they just, something happened and it you know, they just it was like something faulty. But that was a Shriners Hospital patient, and yeah, did anybody die in Pennsylvania, or was it just the people on the plane?
No, I think it was about 5 people in total. Somebody on the ground too. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't fly right now. I mean, there's clearly some things that are off in our air system, but Elon is upgrading our system. Apparently, it's from the 1950s, our air traffic control system, and it hasn't been updated. So,
how crazy is that?
I don't know.
Is this like an antique? Obviously, it's an antique. You know, this radar system and this air traffic control system. But I'm just going out on a limb here. Like, I would assume with these giant planes flying in the sky, you would want the best, most accurate air traffic control you could get, and you're rocking with shit from the 1950s.
Yeah, Kayla, I did see that. That was on the runway, right? They just collided on the runway, like a fender bender on the runway. I'm like,
oh, I didn't even see that one.
Yeah, that was another one. It's like, wow, man. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's just like, but that goes back to your thing of infrastructure. We're sending all this money all over the place in our infrastructure shit. Like, our air traffic control, and the most wealthy country in the world is from the 1950s. Like, come on, bro. Come on.
Yeah, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. You know, Kayla, well, that's where I was kind of going with it. I'm not sure if I was going with it as in it's orchestrated, but I feel like something's up there because the way these planes are going down, I don't know if you guys saw the Alaska one. What was it? Just yesterday, there was a flight that went missing. There was I don't think it was a particularly long flight. It was through Alaska, and they said it went over a certain area, and they lost all sensors to it, and then next thing you know, they're finding it crashed into a mountain. Yeah, listen, I would listen, that if they want to keep people in one place, it makes sense. And we all know that they will do whatever it takes.
Yeah, they got me, Kayla. I don't want to fly right now, honestly. I
Hell
really
no.
don't. Not only because the crashes, but because we still don't know what the drones are flying around Jersey. Like, them shits are up there. Nobody knows what they are. Like, they're shutting down airports, military bases. Like, I don't want to be up there just because that reason until they tell me, like, yo, it's really this or it's really that. But
yeah, because it can't be really that much incompetence, right? Like, it can't be that much incompetence. Yeah. No, that's listen. A couple of the homies were like, yo, I'm going here or I'm going there. I'm like, good fucking luck.
yeah,
Good luck, dude.
Be on the ground for a while. But that's fair based.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
For sure, though. Why keep them in one spot, you know? And then look, not only that, but we have a bunch of fucking outbreaks happening. Tuberculosis is going crazy in Kentucky. What was it? Polio. There's a fucking polio breakout. Like, what is going on right now? And that's what I mean is that's what I'm saying though, is with so much information, man, it's just like it's super overwhelming.
It is a lot. It's a lot of shit. But nope.
We totally agree. Dino Rockwell, can't be that much incompetence all at once, coincidentally. Agreed. Something's going on. And not only that, but I don't know if you guys saw, but they gave us a real bullshit story on the drones over there in New Jersey. And I can't really speak for Alaska or, you know, the other places because I'm almost positive one went down in Brazil or South America as well yesterday or today. I know there's 3 more that happened recently. But the drone thing was super interesting because for months and months and months, they tell us that they have no idea what it is. FBI doesn't know. CIA doesn't know. Navy don't know. Army don't know. Fucking Green Beret don't know. FAA don't know. And then immediately come out as soon as Trump gets inaugurated and say they were authorized by the FAA to fly for research purposes and then hobbyists. Super shady. Stinks to high heaven. Listen, they could have been terrain mapping for sure, but I was almost Irv and I had spoken about it. Maybe they were really scanning for that nuke, you know.
Yeah, that was the creepy one, man. The nuke was like, oh man, come on with this shit.
Well, that's the interesting part, Rick, is that they said they were coming out of the water. I personally went to Seaside Heights. We have a video. It's on the YouTube channel. And watch these things come off the ocean, fly above the city, and dip back out. Gone. Peace. Later. And they just look like a ball of light until they get close enough. And then it looks like a drone. That shit, no drone I've ever seen. So, but it just goes to show that something bigger is going on in the skies right now. The skies aren't safe. I don't like it. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens. They would have to give me some good evidence to make me want to fly again. I need to see all systems updated. I need to see fucking.
Nah, man. Nah. Oh, the dude tried to punch out a window on the airplane. He cracked it.
Who did?
Some guy on the airplane.
Just a random.
This is recently. He's punched in the window and cracked the window.
He'd have gotten
depressurize it. A bunch of dudes yoked him up, tied him up with like shoelaces until I'm like,
imagine getting carried off the plane in shoelaces, bro, with a bunch of black eyes that you got from falling down.
Yo, I am beating the fucking brakes off of you, bro.
I don't know, officer. He fell a lot when we were trying to get him to stop punching.
Yo, and I'm throwing you straight off the stairs too.
Yeah. Tesla planes. Yeah, I don't know, man. But people are freaking out, bro. Listen, this is what happens is people freak the fuck out. I don't know why that guy was freaking out on a plane. Like, yeah, Ricky, you right, bro. Straight hogtied, yeah, with shoelaces.
Like, yo, chill out, bro. What are you doing?
Somebody should have stuffed a dirty sock in his mouth.
They tried, bro. They really tried. See this shit.
Oh, this is it. We got footage. Oh no. Who's got fucking shoelaces on hand like that?
Cat's like, yo, I've been to jail. Police shit's right out.
Oh yeah. See?
Tight as fuck, bro.
Yo, listen. This is solid though, because after 9/11, this is good to see people fucking like, oh hell no, this ain't going down.
Nah.
Not today,
bro. On the head. Put the boot on the head too.
And that's scary.
Yeah, he cracked the window, so like he was gonna break it. Depressurize the cabin, lights out.
I just don't understand. Like, obviously, you got to have some real serious issues going on to want to do some shit like that.
Crazy, right? Yeah, they just. He's fighting though, bro. Yeah, that's crazy.
This is another interesting thing about what that dude Chris Bledsoe was saying in regards to like the ETs and like dark forces, light forces. These things will take people over, man, and make them do shit that they wouldn't normally do. And I'm not saying that this is it, but why the fuck would anybody want to punch out a window on a plane? And listen, you want to hurt yourself, that's one thing, but to kill or injure, and a lot of plane crashes, there's a lot of deaths, you know what I mean? There's just not a lot you can do, you know? You're risking everybody else's life now. So you have to be in a real wild state of mind to want to do that. There's kids on that plane. There's women on that plane. Yeah, well, that's wild. See if you could pull up the Alaska one, if you get a chance, because I know there was just a bunch of recent ones too.
Yeah, Alaska.
It's not out of the realm of possibility, Rick. I'll tell you that much. Homie might have smoked some K2 or something.
Yeah. I was from LA to Houston.
That flight was
That flight was, yeah.
LA to Houston.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Because LA's fucking buck wild anyway. Yeah, K2 would make sense. There's a real issue with K2 on the streets and in prison systems, and it makes people do a lot of wild, crazy shit. They get that kickstand lean. You know, they get the fucking yeah. Yeah, I don't get it, man. It just seems like something big is happening. If anybody hadn't seen it, Representative Anna Luna came out recently and said that there's like a allegedly it was bigger than aliens. I don't know what could be bigger than aliens, but she said that there was going to be a big press conference coming here soon.
This week coming up.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think's going on there?
Guess no more, man.
Right?
It's like, yeah.
It's not aliens, dude, but it's bigger.
It's bigger.
Oh. There's a mothership. Yeah, it's bigger than one. Bigger than one alien. So yeah, there's this thing hurtling towards Earth, which I don't know if anybody saw that either, but there's a 1 in 43 chance. I think they might have just increased the odds, but there's a really good chance we might get struck with a motherfucking meteor in 2030, something like that. I have to look it up.
2032.
That's gonna come super close, right? Bigger than aliens would mean like full disclosure of an intergalactic war. Yeah, I mean, that would definitely be bigger. Galactic Federation shows up, just telepathically.
You'd be done, right? Yeah, like what?
Oh, is this isn't
this is Brazil.
Yeah,
This just happened in Russia
today, right?
Yeah.
That was oh shit! Run that back.
I mean, look at all the cars at the red light right now. Girl, like
it could have been like wow!
You just took the turn.
There.
Yeah, bro. You just took the turn. Like you're like, yeah, I gotta get home. It's crazy.
John Rakowski. What up, John? Thanks for tapping in, bro.
Somebody's got you. Somebody's got you.
Yeah, so that seemed this with this video here. I think it almost looks like Homeboy whoever tried to land the plane.
Trying to land it there.
Something maybe went out, engine failure or something. But this is what I'm saying though. Is there's so many happening. That was Brazil. We didn't even get to Alaska yet.
Hold on.
If you were talking about Apophis, it's supposed to go between the Earth and Moon. I believe so, but I think they just increased. Which one's new?
This is a new one they discovered. Yeah, but Apophis was supposed to hit in 2032 too, which is weird now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, because I don't recall it being Apophis, but I do recall Apophis. But this one I know they just increased the odds like 3 days ago that it might hit us. This is Alaska.
Yeah.
Ricky asked, can you slow it down? I didn't see landing gear. That shit was coming in pretty hot, man. I don't know if any of us were seeing landing gear. We have to get a
Rick's like,
video.
yo, man, why you trying to land? Ain't no landing gear down, bro.
Right, coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
So this is in Alaska. This is the one that went missing. I think they found it today, I believe. But again, this is shit. We're getting close to 10 plane crashes, bro, in the last 2 weeks.
It really hasn't been many. Oh, it's pretty safe to fly. It's been safe.
Yeah, but then again, this is what I'm talking about with the drone shit. We didn't have like this big uptick, you know, and then they're releasing the egg footage and they're releasing the 8 gone information, or you know, it's just interesting. And now we have all
I was thinking too earlier in the week, because when the FAA said that it was all approved, right? This is just for the US shit. Like, nobody bought that shit. And now we have these plane crashes. Nobody's asking the FAA for those, for the drone shit. Like, who approved it? Who was flying? Like, what companies were they? Like, so these crashes would be convenient to cover that shit up.
Yeah, well, that you would think that would be all public information. But again, where is that information? Where are the flight logs if they were public? Why weren't they on? We were watching current air traffic controllers, bro, and those things weren't on there. At the time, at least. John says the funny thing is that Apophis translates as wormwood, and that is in Revelations.
That is correct.
But again, cyclical. It all comes together at some point. And that's why we get into the religious stuff as well, because a lot of that stuff is some good information. I just think some of it's been tainted quite a bit. But it's really breaking down the information. Ricky said, yeah, you're right, John. That's the 7th seal, I think. But again, with these plane crashes, it's unfortunate. And obviously our thoughts go out to the victims and their families. It's tough, but if I've been telling everybody, like, yo, man, I just give this guy, just drive. Yeah, obviously you can't drive to Europe, shit like that, but I'm sure you could take a local vacay somewhere.
Nah, the shit is just, I mean, when you're up, I'm good. Like, taking off and landing, I'm always just like, God damn, man, this shit just don't. Yeah, I'm always sketched. Take off and landing.
Bro, I was so scared the first time I got on a plane. I wasn't, obviously I couldn't bitch up, but I had to be, I was going to California the first time. So it was like getting on, like, I guess when I first envisioned it, I imagined you're just getting on a big ass plane, right? And like from Albany to O'Hare, I think was my layover at the time. It was this like tiny ass plane, bro. It only had like, I don't know, 30 people. 30 people.
Yeah.
It's like a little puddle jumper.
Yeah.
And I'm
just get knocked around too. You're like, oh.
I'm like, bro, I can't even believe I fucking signed up for this. But unfortunately, this was, a long time ago. So
you made it happen.
Yeah. Well, then I ended up during COVID, I went out again. And I was like, all right, cool. That's when I had to talk the kids into getting on a plane. Like, all right, yo, look, I get it. It's scary. But
let's do it.
At least if we're going down together. Shit. Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to everybody for tapping in tonight. Thanks so much on this Friday. Oh, we're into Saturday now.
Yeah.
And what's everybody doing for the Super Bowl? Who do y'all want to win? A lot of hate out there on the three-peat. But then everybody hates Philly too, so it's like crazy. NFL's rigged anyway.
Yeah, somebody pointed that out, that the DC plane left from Kansas, and then you had the Philly plane in DC also, because the Skins were in the.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, okay, all right, I feel you.
Yeah.
People find, patterns in everything.
Well, did you see the logo of this year's Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Did you see what colors it was? They were it's Chiefs and Philly colors, baby.
Pre-made.
Listen, it was. Find out when they drop that image. I'm telling you. So look. Guess who's in the Super Bowl? Now, there's a theory that this is like one of the biggest theories about the NFL being scripted is that a lot of the Super Bowl logos have had the color of the teams playing in the Super Bowl for a bunch of years. A lot of NFL players admit that they have scripts that include injuries that puts them out of the game and so on. Listen, this is, again, why we're questioning it, because like just this, and Irv, can you see if you can pull up last year's? So if we, like maybe the last few, see if we can find if there's like actually been the teams in the Super Bowl and when they drop these things, because it's got to be a while before the Super Bowl.
Before.
The year before?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Well, look, some kid in a third world country is going to always think that whoever lost really won. You know, there's kids out there in some third world country that think Tom Brady did the undefeated season. But I think it's just interesting too, because then you have the refs and you have all the controversy there, and then that forces them. I don't know if you saw, but they put out a fucking statement saying how absurd it is that they would ever be involved in something like that.
Yo, they're getting bread, bro. Like, yo, you're gonna lose this game, bro. Got a fucking $80 million contract. All right, bro. All right.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're doing whatever.
I know. That was one of the craziest shits when I woke up to that shit. Like, be like, my whole Sunday be ruined, bro. And then I'm like, wait a minute, this motherfucker's going back to the pad, bro. No worries at all. Like, about to go to Bermuda, fly around the world for the rest of the season, and I'm over here depressed and shit. Like, that shit makes no sense.
Who was in the Super Bowl last year?
San Fran and
Kansas City, right?
City, yeah.
Because that, dead ass. I swear to God. All right, so last year's was the same colors as the teams. Let's go. We'll just go 2020 because that seems a couple years back. 2020 Super Bowl logo. 2020. Who was in the Super Bowl? Let's see. Was Philadelphia? Who? No. Who was it? 2020 Super Bowl.
Blow the whistle. Yeah.
Now we appreciate everybody coming in and interacting tonight. We always love when you guys bring your theories and your ideas. Who was it? It was, that was the 49ers. Let me see. Kansas City Chiefs and 49ers was 2020.
Yeah, because they've been to the last 6, Kansas City.
That's fucking bananas. No wonder why they paid Mahomes all that money.
Last 6 out of 7.
Crazy. But think about it with the Taylor Swift partnership too. It's like, it just seems like it's getting more and more entertainment based, which it's always been. Like sports are entertainment. But when it comes down to it, it's like, it's almost getting more soap opera-ish side of things.
Oh, and Trump is going to be at the Super Bowl. This is actually the first time a president will be at the Super Bowl.
Oh, shit. John says, I used to think that the NFL players got too much money in their contracts, and then I saw one of your contracts, which looks like it's 400 or 500 pages long, and I even have to ask for permission to go water skin, and there's a lot of recreational things that they're not allowed to do. And then I find out that the players have scripts to follow. Of course, this doesn't prove that the games are rigged, but they're certainly scripted. Well, look, if they're scripted at all, they're rigged. the simple as that, for real, because if it's not all above board and this person's winning, it's like, you're throwing the game. You're point shaving, whatever.
I think it was 2 years ago, the Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl. There was like a blatant, like, these dudes just didn't go tackle Mahomes at the end of the game. I'm like, why wouldn't you be trying to take his head off at the end of the game? They literally like on the goal line too, for the game, nah, you guys blew that shit.
Yeah. Well, it's again, but if that's the problem though, is that if it's really that scripted and there's a lot of they were making a fuss over the Bills game, Kansas City and the Bills game with that first down for Josh Allen on the sneak or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And they were like, you had every forensic scientist ever. Well, let's put it this way, internet forensic scientist, basically saying like, yo, man, they robbed this shit out of them cats. But it's all scripted. That's what it is. It's entertainment.
I mean, I fuck with wrestling, I grew up with it. I knew it was scripted. It was all good. I didn't give a fuck.
Well, yeah, of course, but you don't have you might have a collection of favorite wrestlers as opposed to some of these don't get it twisted. You got your diehard fan bases in wrestling as well. But when it comes to the rivalry amongst sports teams, that shit gets dangerous.
Yeah, no.
You don't see wrestling. You might see wrestling guys like, oh yeah, let's get in the ring and fucking RKO each other. Sure, whatever, but they're not fighting in parking lots, burning down cities, bro. You know what's going to happen in Philadelphia if they win?
Yeah.
Shit's going to be lit on fire. There's going to be cars on fire and shit. There's going to, you know what I mean? It's going to be fucking mayhem. But I think that's just, again, a part of the division of it. So it's like, you want your team to win. It's like the Cowboys, right? So again, the Cowboys haven't been to the fucking Super Bowl or even the NFC Championship game since 95 or 96. So it's like, do you think after all that money that Jerry Jones sunk into that bitch, they wouldn't win something? No. It's like, nah, keep them out of there. They had their era. You know, let's give somebody else an era. Now it's Kansas City's era. Ricky says, yeah, that was the work up for this. The damn refs are the ones that are getting paid. Dirty bastardos. Allegedly, they're not doing nothing wrong. But this is a lot of human error, too. I will give it that. There is a lot of human error. And sometimes it boils down to just people not being very smart.
Not at all.
So we'll see, though. I don't really have a horse in the race. I am particularly looking forward to the halftime show because that dude Kendrick Lamar will be putting on a show. And not only that, but I really can't wait to hear Not Like Us played to the world. And I think it's going to be dope. Who do you think is going to win? Who you want to win, Irv?
I don't really care. I think the Eagles are going to win. I think they're pretty stacked. They lost the last one, then it's set up for another run back next year with the same 2. 3 for 3. Yeah. And then I think Elon took out some ads on the fraud that's going on. Doge. So that'll be cool too for commercials. He's not playing, man. So you know,
which is wild.
Commercials too. Be all these new commercials coming out.
Yeah, I think with that being done, I guess it's not a bad way to get information to people. You know, you can almost guarantee somebody's going to be watching the Super Bowl on TV as opposed to maybe on the internet. So it's like you just run the commercial. And you're still reaching that target audience, which is the American people. And guess who tunes in on Super Bowl? The American people. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure. Remember when Kanye did a fucking Super Bowl commercial, but he spent all the money on the commercial spot? So he did like a 60-second or 30-second video on his phone. Yeah, I got a website. It's like easy.com. It's hilarious. He's like, we blew the whole budget on the ad spot. Shit, let's see what we got. We got 13 with us on X, 1 on YouTube, 4 on Facebook, 1 on Twitch. Instagram got weird on us tonight. I can't see Kick either, so I gotta figure out a way to get Kick as well. So if anybody's watching on Kick and Rumble, or not Rumble, is it Rumble? Yeah, we don't ever get Rumble. Shout out to you guys too. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, we'll be having our TikTok shop set up as well, where you guys can get merch. So if you're not subscribed or following the TikTok, shoot over there, hit the follow button. We can, bunch of weirdo. When we don't do the podcast, we try to stay up on these channels with just other weird shit. So make sure you check out all the shorts as well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, we'll wrap this one up for this evening. You got anything else for these guys, Irv?
No, stay tuned, man. Be safe out there. We got snow coming in the capital region tomorrow. Supposed to be like 9-10 inches. You know, thank you for tapping in.
Word up. Hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you guys. See you next time. Peace.